About 3 months after my son passed away, I went back to work after my maternity leave to only find out I didn't really have a job to come back to. And that, my friends, was the biggest eye opener I needed that now reflects the options that Renee has today. If you have ever experienced any form of a layoff, it can already be devastating if it's not something that you're anticipating. But in the moment when life is lifing and your lifeline is that paycheck, it's that job, it's that dependency and that consistency, I'm sorry, but a layoff can rock your world, quite literally. After my son had passed away, my son was a stillborn 36 weeks in my pregnancy, I went through the worst grief I think I could have ever experienced. And I took a longer maternity leave, longer than the normal person. I was out for quite a few months because I needed to not only heal from my C-section, but heal from the fact that I didn't bring my son home like I expected to, heal from all of the emotional trauma that was quite literally happening to me in real time. And I had never experienced trauma like that. Yeah, I'd never experienced a trauma like that before. So when I came back to work, I was grateful to be working with such a supportive team of ladies. They just really cared for me while I was away and looked out for me upon coming back to work. But just a couple weeks later, I realized I was actually without a job very soon after this return from maternity leave. And I did not know what I was really going to do. My company at the time had downsized about, I think, 40 to 50 of its brick and mortar locations. And this was 2017 when people were starting to make some changes and go more e-commerce and go online. And well, I understood the nature of what they were doing. It was just really devastating for me. I was grateful enough, though, that the company made the decision to transition us to our sister stores. So I was living in Atlanta at the time, and let me tell you, I applied, I was looking for my same role, and unfortunately my same role wasn't available at any of those locations, honey. And I'm talking, we in Atlanta, big city. There are quite literally Lululemons everywhere. And when I realized that, okay, I'm either gonna have to take an even deeper pay cut than I'd already taken to move up and leave Michigan and move to Atlanta to take this on in the first place, it just wasn't going to make sense for me. And the doors were not opening. So I made the decision to sell what I could sell, pack up my car, drive 12 hours back to Michigan, and I went back to my old store, working with my previous coworkers and working with my previous boss. And that was where I end up landing my feet. But let me tell you something, the biggest eye opener almost 10 years ago was the fact that I needed some options. And that, I already knew that, but when I was preparing for my son to come, I didn't really have the ability to focus on more options besides what I was already doing with my job. I didn't have the energetic capacity to just throw to trying to figure out a business. But was I trying to figure something out? Absolutely. Y'all, I have been trying to figure out how to make extra money and ways to get paid to be myself literally since 2015, well over 10 years ago. So that wake-up call with the job transitioning and closing really kind of sent me in a position, a mind, can't get my words out. It had me in a mindset of, girl, you got to figure something else out. And I'd say once I got back to Michigan, I got more settled. I got reacclimated with my previous work, and I went back to my grandma's house to just land on my feet. I needed a place that felt safe, that was familiar, and just felt sound, right? And this is just still healing from my son's passing all in the same year. Girl, it just, even the most loyal companies nowadays, I mean, you can give them 35 of your good years. And does that really matter? No. it just really reminded me, as grateful as I was to have that transition and now having experienced additional layoffs besides that, that I really needed to figure out something for myself. And I started health coaching at the time because it was a way to heal my body, heal my mind. It was a way for me to feel like I was doing a service back to other people. It was almost a way for me to restore myself postpartum and from the loss, to help prevent that from happening with anybody else. And that's not something I could literally prevent, but like that's where my mind was at the time, because it was so devastating and it was so soul crushing. And I realized that I'm a woman. I go inwards. When something's broken, I have to go inwards to start mending the broken pieces when I'm ready to do it. And I was ready to do it. I dove in. I got certified as a holistic health coach. I started taking on clients and launched my first services. And then I stopped cold turkey. Didn't want to do it anymore, hit burnout, and needed to find something else. And all of that to simply say, now having landed where I am today, I am grateful for constantly throwing spaghetti against the wall until something stuck. Because we cannot depend on corporations, companies, jobs, our bosses, our managers to quite literally save us. Even in the most comfortable or fluffiest situations, anything can change at the drop of a dime. And the changes that are happening in these companies, they don't care about what's happening in your real life. They don't care that you got bills that are due. They don't care that you're, quote unquote, kind of going through a loss. They're doing what they need to do for themselves, and they're making the best decisions with every single time the business in mind. These decisions are always from the business down, and whoever gets affected just so happens to be lost cause, right? This is why you have to create options for yourself. This is why it is so valuable for you to figure out what is the thing, what are the things, what direction can I go in to start creating a new reality for myself, no matter what. Because we're just not in the generation where we can rely on these companies to be able to save us. No one's coming to save you. No one is coming to save you. You have to save yourself. You absolutely have to save yourself. And throwing spaghetti against the wall, you think that I love eating spaghetti and you think that it's my favorite meal. It's just the simple fact that I got to a point where I realized that that's sometimes what it takes in order to see what's going to work out. Sometimes that's what it takes in order to see like what's going to click. Sometimes that's what it takes in order to start finding your flow and finding exactly who you are. And I want to encourage you today, because that was the very beginning for me of wanting more options for myself and stepping out to figure out what that looked like. Yeah, this is hard. It's not always an easy decision, right? It may require more time than what you already have to give, but what are you willing to sacrifice in order to try to make that happen? What are you willing to sacrifice in order to try to change your life and create this new normal? What are you willing to sacrifice to try to get some of your time back? The money is beautiful and the money is supportive, but the money buys you options. It buys you your time back. The money buys you the ability to say yes or no. It buys you the ability to extend your maternity leave if you need to. It buys you the ability to grieve in peace much longer than having to be, within the parameters of this limited time frame that you're working with. It buys you quite literally choice. It literally gets you choices. So when I say options, and y'all have been hearing me say this for quite some time now, the wake-up calls that have happened in my life have driven me here to focus on creating more options for myself, more margin, more space, right? What does life and success really look like for me now? What pathway aligns with who I am and who I'm becoming? YouTube has been the number one way that I have brought my time back. And it still blows my mind to even tell y'all this today. The fact that I even got to go sit by the water and catch fish with my dad and use a lure for the first time and set this new crazy goal that I want to catch my first northern pike by the end of 2026. It was just the most beautiful time spent that I could have with him. And I was so grateful. I would have never been able to do this. I was never able to do that before. unless I was on like some extended PTO time because it was a holiday weekend and I got an extra day and a half off, right? Other than that, it was just never an option for us to be able to do this on a random day during the week at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, while everybody else is away at work handling their business. This is exactly what options have been doing. And I think it's a wake-up call. And I hope some of y'all are really starting to wake up to the fact that there is more. There's more available. You already want more. You already want your days to look different. You already want to get control back over your time. You already want to change the next 10 years because you don't want them to look like the last 10 years. You may have experienced the layoff too. It may not have been the time frame of what was happening in my life, but if you've experienced a layoff, you already know exactly how that feels. My second layoff was soul crushing because that was my unicorn job. That was my unicorn job. I was like, what? I could not believe it. Y'all, I shut that laptop closed. I went in the room, closed the blinds. I think I put on sunglasses and got a bag of Lay's sour cream and cheddar cheese chips. And me and Cardi were just laying in the bed. This was like 2 days after I got her. I was like, how am I going to afford this puppy? You know, your mind gets so reactive and you start thinking about everything. I mean, she wasn't going nowhere. We would have figured it out, and we did. But it's just when something major happens in your life like that, that rocks your world, it wakes you up and it reminds you that time can pass, but their decisions can stay the same. You can go another 2 years never experiencing a layout, and then boom, it comes out of nowhere. When you put all of your options, when you put really all of your hope in one basket, you are at the mercy of your employer. And when you only have one paycheck, you are even more in a desperate position. And it's just not worth it. It's not worth it. So if you're ready to make YouTube one of the options that you want to consider, Build Your First Options Cohort 3 is officially open. I have well over 10 ladies signed up in the past 24 hours, and that blows my mind. I'm so excited for y'all to be joining because it shows me that you want this, that you're ready to be visible, that you're ready to use your voice, you're ready to be known for the conversations that you can have, and you're ready to also build your first option too. I don't know if you'll desire to go the direction like me and allow YouTube to just funnel these beautiful individuals into your community, but I'm telling you right now, if you do choose to do that, it will literally change your life in the most profound way. It's like no greater feeling than to be doing life with women that are similar and like-minded and desire this soft, ambitious pursuit of the reality of their dreams, that desire more than one paycheck because you deserve more than one paycheck. You're worth more than one paycheck. And you cannot continue to lean and give your worth and value to these companies that do not do it back to you in return. They literally just drain you dry for the paycheck. When are you going to get off that hamster wheel, sis? When are you going to stop allowing that cycle to repeat itself and stretch yourself a little thin to be able to step into the reality of the expansion of your true desire? You let me know. So I'll either see you in the room because we start September 1st, or I'll see you in the comments because you know I got a lot more to say. I got a lot more to say. I am fired up. I'm fired up, y'all. Lord have mercy, I'm fired up. It's just such a, it sends me. It definitely sends me. But you know what? I will say this. I am so grateful for the goodness of the Lord, because even to have experienced that situation 9 years ago when my son passed away, the Lord has carried me all 9 years, and his goodness, his mercy, and his grace has never left my life. Not a day short and not a minute late. That one, whoo, baby. If you know, you know. All right. Okay, friends, until the next video, I will see you soon. Peace out.